Mid to late July, our early summer apples always begin to ripen. And to be honest, they're not that great of tasting apples. Our fall apples are really sweet and crunchy and delicious. These are soft and mealy and not so great, but I still have found ways to use them. So today I'm going to show you 3 ways that I preserve our summer apples to enjoy them through the winter. Part of my morning routine is picking up all of the apples that have fallen overnight. So this is what I've got this morning, and you'll notice I pick up everything, even if I know I'm not gonna use it, because I don't want it to stay out here and attract the yellow jackets. Sometimes I use these little guys. I just pop them in and make apple pectin. I will go ahead and leave a link to that video if you're interested in making your own pectin, but I have enough of that right now. So these are just gonna go into my future garden bed where it can decompose and feed our future plants. So I'm just gonna go through these and take out all of the apples that I definitely am not going to be making anything with. Still leaves a nice tub of apples. Anything that gets picked up off of the ground goes into something that is going to be cooked. I'm going to be making applesauce with these guys. The cooking process will kill any pathogens or, bacteria and stuff. So that's why I always make sure I cook them. So I just briefly rinse these because I'm going to be washing them once I've got them all cut up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to core them and take out any spots that are not lovely, like this guy. Just gonna get all the ugly spots off. So I check. Does it look good? Looks good. You're a keeper. Most of this is gone. Okay, so out of that apple, I've got this much. Sometimes I have even less, but that's okay because all these scraps either go to my chickens or go into a future garden bed. So this is how much apple we ended up with. As you can see, some of it's already browning, and I don't worry about that because I just put a bunch of cinnamon in there and nobody can tell. If you don't like cinnamon and you don't plan on adding cinnamon and you don't want your apples brown, you could always pop them into lemon or lime juice or some pineapple juice or something like that to help keep the apples whiter. And this is the bucket of junk that will make future fertilizer. I'm going to be washing each section individually just to get off anything that may have been on it. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I started the water before I even started cutting the apples. Quick tip if you're new to canning. Fill your canner with the hottest water you have. Waiting for the water to come to a boil can take forever. So if you start with the hottest water you have, it does make it go a tad bit faster. So the next thing I'm gonna do is be taking these apples that I just washed, putting them into a pan to cook them down until they're soft. And I generously add some cinnamon. Make it tasty. Now if you have sweet tasty apples, you probably don't need to do anything else except for add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan so they don't stick and scorch. But these apples, like I said, don't taste like a lot. They're like the tofu of the apple world. They don't really taste like much, really actually not that great, but they pick up the flavor of whatever you add to them. We have some really good tasting apple trees that we can make apple juice with in the fall. So I have some apple juice that I'm gonna add to the bottom of this pan to make them actually tasty and sweet. I don't know if you can tell, you do want to cover the bottom of your pan, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. As the apples cook down, they will release some juices, but you certainly don't want them sticking from having not enough liquid at the bottom to start with. And then I'm just gonna put them onto a medium heat, put the lid on, and let them cook until they're soft and mushy. And I didn't peel them because I'm gonna blend them later and you won't even notice. And the peels do have good things in them for you, but frankly, I have plenty to do besides peel apples unnecessarily. So we just let that cook. Ooh, there goes the steam. Until it's really easy to smash, which this is perfectly ready. So now it's time to blend it. If you have a hand immersion blender, use that or throw it in a blender. I like my Vitamix, so that's what I'll be doing. Okay, this one. I can push it up. Ooh, that's too full. That second bit, I think I had more cinnamon in it. So yesterday I made a batch of applesauce and I put it in the refrigerator knowing that I would make another batch today, and then I'm just combining them, reheating them up together before I can them. It just seems, it's just more time efficient for me. So I'm gonna be adding this pureed apple mixture back into the pot. When you're canning, you want your mixture to be hot when you put it into the jars. So my goal is to make 52 of these little half-pint jars for my little granddaughter who loves applesauce. And my idea was her mom can send her to school with her. She could take the metal bands off and put one of these little lids on, and then she'd have her own little serving of applesauce. All right, these guys are ready to go into the canner. The rest of the apples that fall on the ground will go into pints and quarts, mostly quarts, because it's so much faster. There's my beautiful applesauce for today. Now all the apples that we pick, I make into apple chips and fruit leather. So let's go make some apple chips. So after I wash the apples, I'm going to just core them, but I'm not going to peel them. Now remember, these apples aren't very tasty, they're pretty bland. So the pineapple juice not only keeps them bright and white, it helps them to have a little sweeter flavor as well. All right, we're gonna take these guys in and put them in the dehydrator. Now, you don't need to soak them in anything. I just happen to like pineapple juice an awful lot. I do like to put a little cinnamon on them though. It's so yummy. You guys are ready to dehydrate now. With the remaining apples that I have picked today, I'm gonna make fruit leather. And I went and gathered some plums. I'm gonna add those into it, and I'm gonna pop them into the rest of the pineapple juice from making our apple chips. You can put whatever you want in fruit leather. I like to combine different fruits. It just makes it more interesting to me. And right now we have apples and plums available, like lots of them. Our blackberries are just starting to get ripe, but there's not that many of them. And the reason I'm using the pineapple juice is because I'm gonna need to cook down the apples until they're soft. And the pineapple juice, well, it was left over. It was either that or drink it, which I like drinking it. I mean, that would have been an option. But it'll make them taste better to have the pineapple juice. All right, I'm gonna add the apples. I do not worry about peeling them. Cook them down with the last little bit of pineapple juice. And then when those are soft, we will blend them up. All right, while the apples are cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and add the plums. So they are ready to blend. All right, the apples are all soft. They're even starting to break down on their own. So I'm gonna put these in the food processor now. After they cool down a bit, my apple mixture has cooled down, so I can puree it now. I'm just gonna put it in the blender. I just got done with the plums. Okay, so that's the apple mixture ready to puree. Add it to the plums. And give them, ooh, that's kind of pretty, huh? Oh, that'd be kind of pretty if I kind of swirled it and cooked it. I don't think I can be that fancy, but I might try that. All right, it's time to pour the puree on the parchment-lined jelly roll pan. I try to go slow, have it come out kind of even. Okay, there's one. All right, these guys are ready to go into the oven. Oops, I forgot to set a timer. Let's check it out. Okay, it's a little overdone. Still tastes great. That's one of the things I've noticed about fruit leather is unless it's almost black, it still tastes really good. This was left in my oven so long, the oven turned itself off. Thankfully, it has that feature. So I just cut these with scissors, and then when they're stored, they still have the paper on the back. Ooh, these guys are done too. So good. These are so good. My grandkids love the fruit leather. I really think these are tasty. Well, that's all I've got for today. So until next time, see ya.